Start styling our app. So what I'm going to do first is start working on the navigation menu, and I'm going to remove the elements that I don't think are essential. So what I'm going to do now is go to my navigation partial at underscore navigation.html.erb, and I'm going to remove the drop down. I won't be needing the drop down. There you go. And I'm going to remove the form because I'm not going to be using the form for this app. Refresh, both are gone. Now let's start working on the index page. The first thing I'm going to do is to add div classes that Bootstrap provides for us. So I'm going to go into my index.html.erb and I'm going to add the column classes. Call md8, call md offset 2. So what this div class does is Bootstrap uses the 12 column grid layout, and we want the width of this div to be 8 columns. So when I refresh, this text should ideally start somewhere from here, should occupy 8 columns width and should be offsetted by 2 columns. Now if we refresh, there you go. So we'll be using this pretty often, and we'll be trying to style all our pages with this div class. I'm just going to copy that and keep that aside. So let's use that even for the show page. I'm just going to find the show page, show.html.erb. I'm going to paste that on top, and I'm going to save. Okay, great. I'm just going to do the same thing for the new page at new.html.erb. Add a closing div tag, and I'm going to do the same thing for the edit page. Close it here. So now the new page has changed its width, and the edit page has changed its width. So it's great. Let me go to the new page right now. What I want to do is to increase the size of the body. Every time you enter a lot of content, you will not be able to see what is entered here. You see, because it's just too narrow, the height. So I'm going to start working on that. And because this belongs to the form, we have to go to form.html.erb, which is a partial underscore form.html.erb, and we have to start working on this input body tag. So to increase the size, the height of the row, what we do is we say input underscore html curly braces rows 15. We want this to cover 15 rows. Now when I refresh, the size is increased, and I'd also like to work on this, add some space between the create node and the back. So I'm going to do that right here. Go to my new page. BR would add a break, and wow, that's nice. Now given that we've worked on the form partial, even the edit page is going to be affected. So we can go, for example, go to the edit page, and we can see that the height is increased. I'm going to add the BR tag here also. So going to add BR. Okay. So the new page and the edit page are completely done right now. Now let's start working on the show page. What I like to do is show the text that is here in our index page, at least a part of the text, and I'd like to truncate it to 400 characters so that not the whole text is visible but some part of it. And if you'd like to read more, you can click on a read more button. That'll take you here to the show page. Let's start working on that. So we have, I'm just going to close the rest. We have the index.html or ERB, and after the h2 tag I'm going to add a p tag with a class of lead, and I'm going to say note.body. This should give, refresh, this should give us the lead class, which results in the text increasing in size of the p tag a bit. And now what we use is a method that's provided to us by Rails, where we truncate it, and the length we're going to use is 400 characters. Now when I press refresh, you see this note is more than 400 characters, which is why you see these 3 dots here. And so I'd like to add a read more button only for the notes that are more than 400 characters. So how do I do that? So I'm going to add a p tag. I'm going to add a link to read more. I'm going to say note path. I want it to link to the note path, and I wanted to have a class of btn default. I'm going to close the tag right here. Now when I refresh it, I see that both these have the read more tag, the read more button. So, but I want only this one to have, because only this is more than 400 characters. So how do I do? I am going to write a conditional statement. I'm going to say if note.body.length is greater than 400, only then show me this, else end. Refresh, that's gone. Great. Now I'm going to add a class to the note. Each note will have a class so that I can add a margin and a border to the bottom. So I'm going to add a class of note index. I'm going to add it inside the note loop, and I'm going to tab it out, tab it in, and so when I inspect this, each of these notes has the class. I'm going to start styling it right now. I'm going to say margin, I'm just going to check out how it's going to work. 10 pixels 0, 20 pixels 0. I'm going to say border bottom is 1 pixel solid, EA. And I'm going to say padding 10 pixels 0, 20 pixels and 0. And I'm going to add this to my application SCSS file under my notes index class. Now when I refresh this page, I see this. Now why isn't it working? Because note index and not notes index. So remove this. Now when I refresh this, I see this extra padding, extra margin, and this border bottom that appears. So this is cool. Now what I'm going to do is start working on the time when this note was created. We can use a method called time ago in words. I'm going to use it right here in the index page. So the way I'm going to do this is I want the time to appear on the right hand side of my title. So I'm going to say small in the h2 tag itself, and I'm going to say time ago in words. I'm going to say note dot created at, remember, which is one of the magic columns that got added automatically. And now when I refresh, it says about 4 hours. I'm going to try to improve it. I don't like, it's too long for me, so I just wanted to say 4h 2d instead of 4 hours and 2 days. So to solve this issue, I went online and searched for time ago in words shorter, and I found this Stack Overflow post that was posted by somebody, and this person called P. Manning, and there's this response by answered, I think, by Frederick Chung, and edited by Mahimov. And there's this answer by Mahimov that links you to a certain link. And so when you go to this, you see this file. So we do the same thing. We're just going to copy everything under time.en_abrev.yml, and we have to paste it in our locales. Where does locales exist? It's in the config locales. You just create a new file and you say time.en_abrev.yml. I'm going to paste it here. And now when I go to my notebook website and I refresh, it automatically removes the other text and leaves us only with 4h and 2d. And if it's 3 weeks, it'll say 3w, and so on. Okay, so this looks great as of now. Let's update this text in the show page and update the buttons in the show page. So I'm just going to go to my show page. I'm going to say P class is equal to lead. Refresh, that's bigger. And I'm going to add a class called button group that's provided to us with Bootstrap, and I'm going to tab it in, this whole thing, and then this. Now within this, I have to add the button default for each of these links, and then refresh. I'm going to see this beautiful 3-button layout that appears here. So I'm going to go back. So it looks cool. And what I like to do right now is remove the new note from here and add a button here to add a new note, because this in the navigation looks inconspicuous. So I'm going to go into my index.html.erb. I'm going to say add a p tag. I'm going to say, actually might not be needed. I'm just going to add a link to tag. I'm going to say write a note instead of new note. I'm going to say new note path. Class is btn success. I'm going to close it. I like it to be a bit bigger, so I'm just going to say btn -lg, which makes it bigger. Great. So capitalize note. Okay, so this looks great as of now. Now what I'd like to do is to remove this in the navigation, the new note that is here, and I'm going to remove the UL class 2. Great. Just seeing what is left. So I'm going to add the written when this was created, the post, just like here, but I like to add it in the show template. So I'm going to go to my show page. Let's say similarly, I'm just going to add a BR tag. Let's say small. Let's say time ago in words at note dot created at, and I'm just going to close this. I'm going to say written whatever time ago. So it looks nice like this. I'm going to go back. So everything looks like nice right now. I'm going to update the way the navbar brand looks. So I'm going to go to my CSS application SCSS file. I'm going to say navbar brand, and I want the text transform to be uppercase, the text to be uppercase. I want the lines letter spacing to be -1 pixels. I want the font size to be 1.7 em. Font weight to be 800. And now let me check. There you go. So it's big, it's much better. Let me see what I have left. I'm going to add the pagination gem. The pagination gem adds pages to your app once the number of posts, number of notes per page exceeds 5. Let's say then you're going to have 2 pages and so on, and 3 pages if you have more than 5 notes. So the gem that we're going to add is called the will paginate gem, and just as with all gems, you need to run bundle when you add it to your gem file. So I'm going to add the will paginate gem right after device, and I'm going to say bundle install, exit from the server and restart the server. Let's see how will paginate works. So in the controller, after the note model in the index page, I need to add this text. That's what it says here, the way you see it. But here the number of posts is limited to 30. We want to keep it lower, and I like to put it at 5. But to show you how it works, I like to put it at 1 to show you that the second post will in fact be in the second page. And we also should use the Ruby code here in the index page itself and say will paginate at notes. So let's go to the index page. First let's go to the notes controller and let's add this here right after that. So now this will limit it to 30, but I'm going to show it to you by limiting it to 1. But the change that we need to make is to add will paginate at notes. Now when I refresh, I'll see that because I've set it to 1 per page. I'm just going to get 1 post per page. Now when I set it to 5, as soon as I exceed 5 posts, there'll be a second page that's created. Okay, now the will paginate gem has been done. Now let's start working on the last part of our app, which is just to add font awesome icons. So we're going to go to fontawesome.com and see how we can use it. Okay, we're going to use Font Awesome's free CDN. So copy this and go into your app HTML application HTML ARB file and paste it right in the head, right below JavaScript include tag. Now this means Font Awesome is in your app. Now I'm going to look at what icons we can add. I'd like to add an icon here right after write a note, which looks like a pen on paper. So I'm just going to let's search write. I'm going to this looks nice. I'm going to use this. And the way I use it is I just copy this HTML and I have to use it in my, it's on my index page, right? So when I have to use icons in the button itself, I need to add a do block. So I'm just going to say do end. Okay. Now when I say this, I want the write a note to be along with the icon. So I'm just going to copy it again and paste it here. You see the write a note and the icon are inside the button, and this itself is a do block. Now when I refresh it, I should see it here. Perfect. I'm going to do the same thing with my read more button, and I'm going to add a small person icon here next to the profile. Angle. So for the read more button, I like to add a double angle, something like that. Copy. Read more is located here. I'm just going to add a do block in the link to, end it, write read more here again, and after that add the angle double right. Now when I refresh it, I see these double right angles. I'm going to add the same way. I'm going to add the user icon next to the profile. I'm going to add this. Copy it, go into my navigation partial, and next to profile just add that there and space it up. So now when I refresh, I'm going to see this nice icon here. I'm just going to use sign out also. It's going to see what there is. This seems nice. But for this, I need to add a do end. I have to say class I, and then I have to say remove that and say sign out. Now when I refresh it, I should see something like this. So it looks pretty nice. Okay, I think we're all done with our app here, and I'm going to be back next week with my week 3 of 15 challenge for coding 15 Ruby on Rails apps in 15 weeks. I'll see you next week. Bye.